Commander Thrix adjusted his massive crystalline eyepiece and peered down at the battlefield below. The Zephyrian forces stretched across the crimson plains of Kepler-7, their towering forms casting long shadows in the binary sunset. Each warrior stood nearly 12 feet tall, their metallic exoskeletons gleaming with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed with their heartbeats. "Sir," Lieutenant Vex approached, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "The enemy has deployed their forces." Thrix focused his optical enhancer on the opposing army and nearly stumbled backward in surprise. Across the valley, thousands of minuscule figures moved in perfect formation. They were so small that they appeared as mere specks from this distance, like insects scurrying across the landscape. What are those?" Thrix rumbled, his voice creating small tremors in the ground. "Intelligence reports suggest they call themselves humans, sir," Vex replied, barely containing his laughter. "Apparently, they're the dominant species from a small blue planet in the outer rim. They stand roughly 1/15 our height." The Zephyrian ranks erupted in thunderous laughter that echoed across the battlefield. Warriors doubled over, their massive frames shaking with mirth. Some pointed at the distant army with clawed appendages the size of tree trunks. "They sent children to fight us," roared Captain Nexus from the front lines. "This must be some kind of diplomatic joke." Thrix shook his enormous head, wiping moisture from his optical sensors. "Perhaps they're not aware of our true size. Should we even bother with weapons? We might accidentally step on them." The human army, meanwhile, continued their methodical advance. Their movements were precise, coordinated, and utterly fearless. General Marcus Rodriguez observed the giant aliens through his tactical visor, noting their dismissive gestures and the way they seemed to be laughing. "Sir, they appear to be underestimating us," reported Sergeant Kim Park, her voice crackling through the comm system. "Perfect," Rodriguez replied grimly. "Alpha Team, initiate quantum dispersal. Bravo Team, activate molecular disruptors. Charlie Team, prepare the gravity bombs." The Zephyrians watched in bemused fascination as the tiny army began to glow with an eerie blue light. The humans had spread out across the battlefield in complex geometric patterns, each soldier precisely positioned. "What are they doing?" Thrix wondered aloud. "Some kind of ceremonial dance before surrender?" The answer came in the form of a brilliant flash that turned the sky white. When the light faded, the Zephyrians gasped in horror. Where their front lines had stood moments before, there was nothing but empty space and scattered particles of dust. "Impossible!" Vex shrieked, his voice cracking with panic. How did such tiny creatures? Another pulse of energy erupted from the human formation. This time, Thrix watched in stunned disbelief as the quantum wave approached. He tried to run, but his massive form was too slow. The energy washed over him, and he felt his molecular structure beginning to vibrate at impossible frequencies. In his final moments, he understood the terrible truth. Size meant nothing when facing beings who had mastered the fundamental forces of the universe. The humans hadn't sent children to war. They had sent scientists, engineers, and soldiers who had learned to weaponize physics itself. Dr. Elena Vasquez monitored the battle from the human command ship orbiting high above. Through her instruments, she watched the last of the Zephyrian forces dissolve into quantum foam. "Molecular cohesion disrupted across all enemy units," she reported to Rodriguez. "Mission accomplished, General. Any survivors?" Rodriguez asked. "None, sir. Complete atomic dispersal achieved within acceptable parameters." Rodriguez nodded solemnly. The Zephyrians had made the same mistake that countless species before them had made. They had judged capability by physical size rather than technological advancement. Humanity had learned long ago that in the vast cosmos, survival belonged not to the largest, but to the most adaptable and innovative. As the human fleet prepared to leave Kepler-7, the tiny army that had been mocked just hours before had achieved total victory. In space, there were no David and Goliath stories, only those who understood the universe's true rules, and those who did not.